please, if you like what you're watching, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. WWE Unreal debuted this week. We're going to talk about episode 1. Dave and I have talked very briefly about this before coming on because I kind of wanted to keep the conversation about it fresh. Dave, what did you think of this first episode of this show?
I mean, overall, I liked it. I thought that it was kind of chaotic. I felt like everything came off like, genuine. Like I felt like I was watching something that, it didn't feel worked or anything. So if they did work some stuff, good on them, because I didn't feel like it was. Don't get it twisted. And I this goes for any wrestling company and almost any company. If there's something they don't want you to see, you ain't going to see that shit. So don't think this is 100%, we're letting you in the back area. But I mean, I liked it. It didn't come off hokey to me like a reality show would sometimes. Sometimes I find reality TV to be a bit dated. Maybe this is more documentary style, I guess. Overall, I thought it was fun.
That was one of the things I was going to bring up because like going into it, I almost wanted to hate it because of thinking it was going to be like reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely feels like documentary style. And yeah. I'm really kind of, after episode 1, I don't know what to think because, so much of the wrestling business has been up until like the modern age really kept in secret. You wouldn't know about a lot of the stuff they talk about here. So part of me while watching it is thinking how much the old timers would hate it, how much this is against wrestling tradition. But then at the same time that I'm having those thoughts, I'm loving the showing the year schedule and showing how they plot out Raw, SmackDown, and then you got your pay-per-views. Just them showing the diagram of how Gorilla Position is set up and what that's about was very interesting. Seeing it go from like an empty arena to everything with the staging. So I think I really like the show. And I did not expect that going into this.
So let me backtrack here. There was a commercial for this. There was a couple of commercials leading into this where it looked chaotic, looked legit, and everything looked good. Then they aired one like maybe a week ago where they were showing the I Show Speed thing from the Royal Rumble. And it looked like they were trying to play that off like that was a real event. And I'm like, oh, well, fuck this. This is going to be all bullshit. And it's like, it's not. And that, by the way, jumping a little ahead, that gets explained in episode 2 or 3. I don't remember. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't know who aired that little like reel or video for WWE on Raw who thought that was a good idea, because that to me made the show look stupid. And then once, I started watching it because I saw stuff floating around through social media that day. And I was like, oh, this doesn't look bad. And by the time I got to episode 2 or 3, I was really enjoying it. But as far as this episode goes, one thing I really liked was seeing a lot of the producers, the Petey Williams, Chris Park being formerly Abyss. I thought that was interesting, especially at the end. I thought it was very interesting to see that Chris Park, who I'd always heard had some insecurities about him. You could see he was really beating himself up for going over time and stuff on the Netflix episode with Punk and Rollins. And Bruce was kind of Bruce Pritchard was just Bruce Pritchard, I thought. He wasn't really, he was like, it's fine. What can you do now? It is what it is. I didn't feel like he was here to put Chris Park at ease, but at the same time, I just thought he was a boss. He felt like a boss. But William Regal came off like self-assured, and he was like, be happy with yourself. Be happy with yourself. Don't worry. He'll be fine. He's okay. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I really liked the talk with the producers. There was so much about this that I enjoyed. Like, I'm watching it and I'm thinking like both fans and non-fans can enjoy these episodes. Non-fans, you could maybe see a side of this show that you could actually get behind instead of, just seeing the storylines they put out. Just Rhea Ripley explaining her character. That was like a great little sit down that I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. And normally stuff like that wouldn't draw me in, but I don't know if it's the style of the show, the way it's all put together. But I watched this episode once and then I went and restarted it to watch it again to see what did I miss? What can I, what can I talk about? And there were so many good things like featuring Cody in the beginning. I liked how they introduced you to WWE and everything. And I thought it was a great first episode for the show.
I agree. It was funny. One of the things that stuck out too was Cody's daughter thinking that he was a dancer. I thought that was kind of cute. I like some of the stuff with Rhea Ripley about how, she would just kind of be a mess before the match and then the music hits. I liked that we got to peek at her and Priest, where she's going over her match before Netflix and going over stuff with Damian Priest, who we know she's friends with in real life. And Priest is like, yep, that seems like a lot. It's trying to tell her to slow down. I thought it was all like some really good stuff in here. And to your point about non-fans, I could see people like CM Punk, Rhea Ripley, maybe drawing some fans in here because I thought, they really excelled in some of this stuff.
Yeah, Raw on Netflix is huge, obviously. I feel like this could almost be bigger. It feels like it could be. You'll have to see how it performs. I mean, at this point, it's been out like 3 days.
Right.
And I haven't heard many podcasts review it yet. I know Post Wrestling, who I listen to a lot, I believe they've checked it out, but they're going to give it a week to like review it. It's going to be interesting to hear what people think about it and like overall how it goes. Because I could see this show going on for a while and kind of, I don't know, bringing in more people. It feels weird that to reveal what it all is would get more people watching.
Yeah, but you never know. Yeah, I could definitely see people stumbling on it, and it's a way to kind of get attached to some of these characters still,
Do you think it feels disrespectful to the tradition of the business, because they're revealing so much? Or is that just where we are in the world today, that to some people it's going to be more entertaining to see how the show goes on as opposed to just taking in the show?
Doesn't bother me. Yeah, not to the level they did. I mean, it is what it is. I saw some veteran wrestlers, Bob Cook and stuff, who didn't seem to mind it. I know Josh Barnett wasn't a fan of it. I saw a quote that he wasn't a fan of revealing the curtain too much. But that is what it is. That doesn't bother me too much because I just feel like I'm just used to it all by now. You know what I mean? If this was the 1980s, it would probably be like heartbreaking. But now here we are in 2025, and me and you do a podcast on pro wrestling where we interview.
I was thinking the same thing. Almost like, is doing the podcast sometimes peeling the curtain back? I like to think we stay pretty, we know what wrestling is, we know how people take it in, but I think anytime we do something, we try and have that respect for the business. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm taking it too seriously, but it's an interesting series, and I will definitely be checking out more of this.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you liked what you saw, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share, hit all the buttons.